This is a simplified method to keep your G&L Legacy or Fender Stratocaster in tune. To make things easier, I'm going to call the dual fulcrum vibrato the bridge. This method also works on the Fender 2-point tremolo as well. G&L specifies a 3/16 of an inch spacing between the tail side of the bridge and body. Many people find they cannot keep their Legacy in tune with the factory height and setup. I used the factory height for a year, and that's because I have a custom block bridge. You can see that by watching my how to block a vibrato / tremolo like a Fender Stratocaster Eric Clapton model, G&L Legacy featured. For those of you who enjoy using the vibrato or tremolo, I found that using the lowest bridge height and maximum saddle height a good combination to start with in keeping your guitar in tune. Here's how I did it. Make sure the bridge springs are set to 1/2 inch from the front edge of the guitar body. Then loosen the string tension so you can raise the 3rd and 4th string saddles to their maximum height. You can do the radius adjustment at this point if you want to. Keep enough tension on the strings to keep the bridge parallel to the body, while slowly lowering it to 3/32 of an inch, while making sure you don't over-tension the strings and break the high E string. As a reference point, you can gauge the height of the bridge by stacking 2 music CDs at the tail side of the bridge, which measure just under 3/32 of an inch. Once you have the bridge height, spring spacing, maximum saddle height, and radius set, do a final tuning on the guitar and check to make sure the G string, 3rd string, goes from G to A sharp when you raise the tremolo and the bridge contacts the body. I'm using the stock D'Addario EXL 110 1046 nickel wound strings and the D'Addario EPN 110 1045 pure nickel strings on my Legacy. It stays in tune faithfully and returns to an in-tune status after using the vibrato. Once you have your dual fulcrum vibrato down to 3/32 of an inch, this is as low as you can go with the G&L with the stock saddle adjustment screws. They're short. Now if you want to get a higher action on your guitar and get this down lower, you have to get M3x8 saddle adjustment screws. You can get them through a parts purveyor online or through Amazon. And even having this at its lowest setting and your saddle screws at the maximum setting to raise the saddles up, you're going to have an extremely low action. It doesn't buzz, it plays perfectly fine for me, but you're still going to get G to A sharp when you use your vibrato, and ultimately it would be good to have G to A only. So you really want to have this down a little bit lower to probably 2/32 of an inch, but you can't get it any higher here without getting longer screws. Now if you find that you want to experiment with this, this is a good start right here. It stays in tune. So you can experiment with this by raising up your dual fulcrum vibrato if you don't mind having more pitch on your rise with this. But with the Fenders, you're going G to A and it's as low as possible. So you might want to look into the longer screws, drop this down another 32 of an inch, then when you raise this up, you're going to go from G to A, and then you can adjust your action with the longer screws. Take a look at this clip where I pluck the G string and bend the low E string. You'll notice that the G lowers its pitch and then comes back to an in-tune status. But if you're playing a song and you're doing string bends and you have open strings being played, those strings are going to change pitch. Now it may not matter to some people in a live band situation, maybe to some people in a recording situation. Absolute pitch and tune and everything is critical. You're not going to want to have your tremolo or your vibrato to float when you're playing a song that's mission critical. So in those situations, you want to use a fixed bridge type guitar or block your Stratocaster like I blocked mine.